Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Patrick and this is Valor Aquaponics. I apologize for the weird hue. This is actually not your screen. This is actually an actual view of what's going on here. And it's because of these grow lights that we have. They're kind of like a purplish light. So that's why it's making me look red. I swear I don't have some kind of a weird disease. I am not radioactive. There's nothing crazy going on except for just a lot of tomatoes growing right here. As you can see, they're doing really well. So this week's video is going to be a little bit different just because everything's doing pretty well. Tomatoes are growing, cucumbers are growing, and we just kind of wanted to spice things up a little bit. So we're going to do a different video. Actually, I'm going to do a different video. It's going to be about how to install a union fitting on a pump so that you guys can swap them out pretty quickly in case there's any issues. We kind of wanted to do a little bit of the how-to because basically we haven't done a whole lot of how-tos, and just a little trick that I learned in throughout the years, especially when I was working for a pool company. So it's things that we actually use here. So we hope that you guys like these videos. If you guys want more of these videos, please leave a thumbs up and leave a comment below. We always appreciate that. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit subscribe, hit that little bell, and let's not waste any more time. Let's get started. Alright, today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to teach you guys a little trick of the trade that I learned when I used to be a pool technician. So you're going to need a couple supplies for this. You are going to need a union, and you're going to need O-ring lube. You're going to need a giant adjustable wrench and some thread sealant. You can use Teflon tape. I like using the thread sealant. We call this pipe dope. Not sure why we call it that, but there's actually a brand called pipe dope. But yeah, we just use the thread sealant. I like that better than Teflon tape. And I like to wear gloves. I'm a gloves guy, so mainly because I hate washing my hands 40 times a day, and eventually leading to like bleeding and chapping. So I'd rather just wear the gloves. So the reason why I'm showing you guys is because if you're using an external pump, and you can use external pumps for a lot of things, not just aquaponics. A lot of pools use this. So the easiest way to be able to switch out a pump if you ever had a failure of a pump is to use a union. So this is actually one of our pumps that we use. This is actually the pump that we use. It's actually a Sequence Quiet Drive. It's a QD6050. It's got 1.5 inch fittings, or actually it's got threads for 1.5 inch fittings. So our union is actually a 1.5 inch union. Now I've already kind of gone ahead and I've actually already cemented the pipe in, so you would actually so this is actually that's actually your union from here to here. So from here to here is your union. So one side is a threaded male, the other side is a slip female. So you want the female to match the pipe, and you cement that in, and then you thread in the male portion. So what you want to do is actually, this is where you would want to use your Teflon tape or your thread sealant. Always want to make sure that you leave the collar on. It's going to be kind of a pain in the butt, but you want to get a nice good bead of thread sealant on here. And I'm running a little low because I've used quite a bit. I've done I do all the plumbing here at Valor, so we've used a lot of this for a lot of different unions for when we do fittings. Anytime that basically we need Teflon tape, this is what I use. So it seems to work a lot better. Teflon tape tends to break down after a while, and you'll eventually get leaks. I haven't had any issues with that here. So then once this is done, you actually want to screw this in. Just make sure you don't cross thread it. So you start off going hand tight, Get it nice and tight. And then you're going to want to get your adjustable wrench and do the rest of the work with that. You do want to get this fairly snug. You do not want this loose, because the last thing you want to do is have everything buttoned up and this is leaking. So you want to get it nice and tight. That means you go right up to the, you butt it up right against the pump. That's fine. Now don't over torque it. So like right now it's giving me a little bit of pushback. Just want to go a little bit more and you're good right there. You don't want to go too tight. So now you got your collar here, and now you got your other half here. Now if you see right here, there's a groove here. That's actually for your O-ring. There's an O-ring that comes with these. Now the key to this, and a lot of people don't do this, and you really should, and this is something I learned not just in when I worked for the pool company. This is something I've learned in maintenance, is anytime you have an O-ring, you want to use O-ring lubricant. I just bought this, it's Super Lube. It's a silicone lubricant. I bought this on Amazon. So there's multiple different brands. There's actually ones for like warm water. There's one, so there's like a high temp and there's like a regular temp. Since we're using nothing but cold water, we didn't need anything special. I know I have used high temp O-ring lube before. So you just want to actually get it all the way around the O-ring. Get a nice coat on there. You want to put it right in that groove. Get it nice and seated. And now you can actually lock the collar. Unfortunately, I didn't bring any towels. So now my hands are all... There we go. So with this, you're going to want to get it very tight. Hold on guys, let me go wipe my hands down. Alright, my hands are still a little oily, but that's okay. So now we have this hand tight, but now we actually want to get this all the way tight. And this, you definitely want to get as tight as possible. So you're going to get this tight, and you're going to just try to get this as tight as you can get it, because you will get water leaks here. One nice thing though is that the water pressure will actually help kind of seal it. Now you want to do this for the top as well. And we'll probably just fast forward this for you guys with some fancy little fast music, so that you don't have to watch this thing in regular speed. Alright, so now you have your two unions. Typically, you might have already had this into your system. Otherwise, you would want to put the unions on first, and then you'd want to glue this in. And so now what the benefit of this is, so let's say something happens to this pump burns out. Now I don't have to cut all my pipe out. All I have to do, unscrew this union. If I have another pump already, and this is the key, you will want to have another pump on hand. And if you already have these unions on here, at least the first half, all you have to do is just unscrew it and put the new pump on. It takes, instead of spending a couple hours cutting stuff up, cementing it and letting it dry, because you have to let it dry a certain amount of time before you can actually pressurize. So this allows you to just do a quick swap of the pump without having to cut anything, without having to do anything crazy. All you have to do is just unscrew it, and it should take you probably no more than 10-15 minutes. And the one reason why, I forgot to mention, one reason why you use the O-ring lube is that O-rings will dry out. and you're like, you might be saying, well, it's in water. It's gonna, yeah. There's stuff in the water though that'll help dry it out though. So what you want to do is by using the O-ring lube, it prevents the O-ring from drying out. It prevents it from. It doesn't prevent it, but it helps it from malformation, because eventually it'll start get to be a little bit deformed from all the pressure. So it kind of just gives it a little bit of gives it a little stability, helps it last a little bit longer. So then now you would be set to be able to get this into your system. I actually just did this so that I can actually vacuum out the trout pond. So I'm actually going to be hooking up vacuum hose to this so that we can actually vacuum out the trout pond. And the reason why I left these really long is because should we ever need to swap this out for one of the pumps that we're using out on our system, I want to be able to just I want to make sure there's plenty of room here in case we need to use these. So whereas if I cut them too short, you wouldn't be able to put any kind of like a coupling on here. So I wanted to make sure that there was enough here. I might trim these down probably halfway so we could still put a coupling on there. But this is basically what you do. This is a big trick of the trade. Most places won't tell you about it. I highly recommend it. It's going to save you a lot of time in the long run. So in the immediate time, it's a little bit longer, I would say, but it's going to save you a lot of headaches in the long term. Take it from me, a guy that's actually changed out quite a few pumps. You don't want to have to cut and have to re-plumb everything. You just want to do this. So you can buy these couplers at your hardware store. We bought ours on Amazon. They're Hayward's. There's actually Hayward actually does a lot of pool equipment, or like pool fittings. So these are 1.5 inch. I believe these pumps go up to with a 2-inch inlet and outlet. So we went with 1.5 because that's basically what I wanted to plumb our system with. So everything, basically almost everything here, you got your piped up, your O-ring lube. You should be able to get all of that at your hardware store. You might be able to get these at your hardware store. Otherwise, you could probably get these from your local pool supply company. As you can see here, we actually use these here in our, in our shop here. So this is our pump from the mineralization tank that goes to our system, and then we actually also use them over here from our sump tanks back to the pool. So in case anything ever happens to these pumps, let's say the motor goes bad, the impeller goes bad, and we need to rebuild the impeller, and if anything goes wrong, all we have to do is unscrew these fittings, take the other pump that we have, put it right in its place, screw it back on, get it nice and tight, and then plug in the pump, and that's it, basically all it is. It's going to save you guys a lot of time, save you guys a lot of money, because time is money. So in an aquaponics system, you always want that water circulating. You can't let it get stagnant for too long. So this helps you guys out a lot. These fittings aren't that expensive. Like I said, you could buy them at your local hardware store if your hardware store is fairly big. Otherwise, you can always buy them on like Amazon or your local pool supply. Like I said, these are Hayward's. Hayward is a swimming pool parts manufacturer, so they're pretty popular. I've pretty much used those for most of my pool tech life, so I highly recommend them. Well, I hope you liked this week's video. I hope you liked a little bit of difference that's going on here, and some of the videos that we're going to be trying to do, some more how-to videos and things like that. Once again, if you like these kind of videos, please leave a thumbs up in the comment below. As you can see, the trout, they're still doing well. You can see them kind of swimming along right there. So yeah, I mean, I hope you guys liked it. Let me know what you guys think, and you know what, there really isn't much to say, so this will probably be our shortest video that we've ever made. So remember to be the change that you wish to see in the world, and we'll see you guys next time.